Welcome to Navigating the San Diego Labor Market. Our agenda today, I will speak to you today about preparing for job search, opportunities for career training, exploring our current occupational demand, and unexpectedly great wages. I personally was surprised. So hello, my name is Michelle Quinn. I'm the job developer for SCARE, also the career counselor. My contact information is michelle@scareinc.org. I wanted to briefly give you a background about myself. I was married for 11 years. It was an unhealthy relationship that ended in divorce. Upon divorce, I became a single mom of 7 kids. Yes, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The youngest of those 7 kids was 12 days old. During that time, I had little support, and it was because my dad was in the VA hospital fighting Guillain-Barré, and then my mom was in Florida. My siblings were, they had their own life. So basically, it was me by myself. I worked full time, and I also went to school online. I couldn't ideally be in a classroom setting, having that many children at home. So I decided to go to school online, where I received my bachelor's degree. I was a supervisor for 20 years with 80 employees. And then I became a program director overseeing 3 sites. And I had 120 employees, and I was a program director for 5 years. When I come to you doing my workshops and presentations, I come to you with my experiences as a single mom. I come to you with my experiences as a single mom and a mom that had to work full time. I also bring to you my experiences as a single mom who worked full time and went to school. And also I come with a special set of skills, being that I was a supervisor and a program director. So I come to you with my experiences as a supervisor and program director, which allows me to show you what I see when I look at applications and resumes. Being that I was the one who hired most of our employees. And when I look at resumes, I try to determine if this person is going to be a good fit for our work family. And I say work family because we're at work for 8 hours of the day, where if it's a full-time job. And for the most part, we're at home maybe 6 hours of the day. And those 6 hours aren't even quality time. Those 6 hours are mostly preparation for getting up the next day and being out of the home for all those hours all over again. Because you're looking at 8 hours as a full-time job, then maybe an equivalent of 2 hours between travel time and also preparation for the day. That means like your shower, your makeup, everything else. Then you spend 8 hours sleeping, and then the remainder of the hours, which leaves you 6, is what you spend with your family. So employers, it's very important to us that we find somebody that's a good fit for our work family, because we're with these people most of the time, and we can pick and choose that work family. We're just not born into that. In preparing to return to the workforce, you need to look at your availability, and I'm talking about real availability, not what time you have to spare for coffee, or time that you have to spare for um, a coffee date with your friends. This is real availability. We're looking at a block of time that you may have that you can dedicate to working, a block of time every day that you can dedicate. So within that block of time, you're going to want to look at your prep time. Your prep time is included in that block of time. Also, your travel time and your drop off time. How much time does it take to drop off to daycare? So those are the times that you have to take away from, oh, I'm available between this time and this time. And you have to ask yourself, like, are you truly available between that time? You know, like, do you have time to get ready in the morning? Do you have time to do your hair, brush your teeth, get dressed, iron your clothes? You know, do you have time to travel from point A to point B? And then and from drop off to your job, I mean, all that is taken away from that block of time that you may think that you have available. And a lot of times with new young employees, I found that this was problematic, you know, for the work family, because where they're not delivering, you know, the work family had to step in, you know, to cover them, to cover that shift. You may think that it's 15 minutes, you know, here, 15 minutes there, but if somebody's covering until you get there, you're making that next person late to whatever it is that they need to do. So you need to look, take a real look into your block of time. Um, Also, transportation, um, reliable transportation. Um, so using your boyfriend's car, your friend's car, someone else's car, that's really not reliable transportation. Um, you want it to be your car. And then is your car capable of getting you from point A to point B without any hiccups? And then also too, you want to look at public transportation. How long will it take you to get from point A to point B? Because that needs to be taken out of your block of time availability. Um, and if you're not too fond of public transportation, then you may want to look into Uber and how much it would cost daily for you to get from point A to point B. But then also to looking in the transportation aspect of um, returning to the workforce, you have the ability to choose what area in San Diego you want to work in. You can work in Santee, El Cajon, La Jolla, downtown, you know, it's really up to you what area, how far you're willing to travel to go to work. Because sometimes it's just not worth it to work really far. If you live in National City and you find a job in Escondido, you might spend half of your wages just on gas alone. So you might want to look into that. You know, how far are you willing to travel, and just set that as your boundary. Like, I am not going past this point. And make sure that when you're searching in those job boards, that you know you have a specific area that you're willing to travel. And a lot of times they'll ask, like, how many miles are you willing to go? So it'll say like 5 miles, 2 miles, 15 miles, so on and so forth. So make sure that you put in all those different things when you're trying to establish that. So preparing for job search. So one thing in preparing for the job search is, so in preparing for job search, you need to know what you're searching for. You can't go out there and just throw something in the air and just see what sticks. Hey, you need some direction to know where you're going. So I like to use this database. It's called ONET. It's a free online database that contains information regarding job opportunities and career preparation. With the ONET, you can use the career search with keywords. So you can put in like phlebotomy or pipe fitter, construction, and then it'll bring up the careers that are related to your search word. Or you can browse by industry, which is also awesome. And then we're going to look at an example here. So did it move? Oh, there it goes. So I looked at pest control. So if you look at the top, it says pest control, and then also called. So exterminator, pest control technician, pest technician, residential pest control technician. And then it has like a career video, so you can see what exactly a pest control worker does. Then it says, what do they do? It says apply and release chemical solutions or toxic gases and set traps to kill and remove pests and vermin from that infest building and surrounding areas. And then on the job, you would, and then it says record work activities performed, inspect premises to identify infestation source and extent of damage to the property, walls, roof, porosity, and access to infested location. And then recommend treatments and prevention methods for pest problems for the client. So these may seem like very broad things that you have to do, but then it breaks it down a little bit more. So with pest control, you need to have good customer service, have some knowledge of public safety and security. And with most jobs, you need to know some of the safety and security laws that are put in place by your county governments. And then also English language, so that you can communicate efficiently with your customers. And then skills, and it has basic skills, listening to others, not interrupting, and asking good questions, and thinking about the pros and cons of the different ways to solve a problem. The next skill is problem solving. Notice a problem and figuring out the best way to solve it. Understanding people's reactions and looking for ways to help people. That's under social skills. Um, and then, and that's very important because like a lot of times if it may be like, we may not understand other people's phobias, but they might be freaked out about a rat being in their house. So when their anxieties go high, you come in low to kind of balance everything out. So, just having those basic social skills. And then abilities, communicate by speaking, listening, and listen and understand what people say, ideas and logic. Just notice when problems happen and use rules to solve the problem. Attention is do two or more things at the same time, and then pay attention to something without being distracted. And then hearing and speaking, and your ability to speak clearly. Personality, these would be your soft skills. So your soft skills that they would be looking for is people interested in this work, like activities that include practical hands-on problems and solutions. So they do well at jobs that need integrity, dependability, attention to detail, independence, cooperation, stress, and stress tolerance. Your hard skills would be like the technical skills. So the hard skills here are Microsoft Word, report writing software. It says YouTube, but I'm assuming that it's something that you may have to watch. But and then database software, and then Marathon data system, pest pack. So those are probably the systems that the pest control utilize in their daily work. But it's pretty cool because it just breaks down whatever industry that you're thinking about going into in all these different compartments. What that job is also called, like the knowledge that you need to have, the skills that you need to have, the abilities, your soft skills, your hard skills. It's all right there, at the touch of at your hands, basically, because you can also access the ONAT on your phone. Next, we have my next move, which would be the third tab over. And so with this, it's an interest profiler. And then, so with the interest profile, excuse me, interest profiler, they ask you a series of questions to identify your interest, and then they match them with jobs that would, with careers that would match your interest. So you can click the next button at the bottom of your screen. You can also go backwards so that you can reread and re-answer questions, and you can change your answers as you go, just so that you can make sure that the profiler is getting getting a good gauge on your interests. And you want them to have that so that they can give you all the jobs, or all the, as much direction. Once you finish the ONET, it gives you an interest profile, so that it breaks it down into, like, do you like to do things that are realistic, investigative, are you artistic, do you like being part of like social services, that aspect, helping other people. And then it has like enterprising, so like developing things, coming up with things that are new. And then conventional, which are just like your average everyday jobs that are out there. So which and then it gauges your interest level, and you get to see like where your interests really lie. And then it gives you your job zone, and then it breaks it down. It breaks down in job zones into 4 different job zones. So, well, first of all, it tells you the careers that best fit your interest. So you'll see it has like best fit, great fit, or bright outlook. So obviously bright outlook would mean that you'll do very well in that career based upon your interest and your interest level. So with job zone 1, with little or means that it has little or no preparation needed. So that would be something in fast food or housekeeping. Job zone 2 would require some preparation, like cashiers, administrative workers, or orderlies and riggers. Job zone 3 is medium preparation, like a bookkeeper, a bailiff, or a dental assistant. And job zone 4 is high preparation needed, sorry, like a pilot, construction manager, journeyman, I think that's what they're called, and then like a loan officer. So there are other job search engines beyond Indeed, Glassdoor, and Craigslist. Um, of course, if you want to work at Target, you can always go on the Target website. They all have career boards. So if you know a specific um, company that you want to work for, you can always look on the company website. But other than that, there's other search engines such as Cal Careers, Cal Jobs, City of San Diego, Disabled Veterans Jobs, disabledpersons.com, governmentjobs.com, and then you can go on workforce.org, and they also have a really awesome job board there. Up next, we have career training. I have on the screen, it's called careeronestop.org, which is really awesome because they have these different tabs where you can explore careers. You just click on the green tab. On the purple tab, it's finding training. So they have training programs, training schools, schools that offer just a certification, because not all jobs need a degree. Some jobs just require a certificate, or even better, sometimes they don't even require the certificate when you are applying, or even when you get the job. It's just they give you a certain amount of time to obtain that certificate. And that's another thing, like when you're looking into these jobs, like don't um, miss an opportunity because you think that you have to have this certification prior to getting the job. Not all jobs are that way. So you may want to look into, um, you know, and it'll be written in the job description as well, that these that you have 30 days to obtain. For example, some jobs may say that you need 30 days. You have 30 days to obtain a CPR certification or something like that. So yeah, don't miss out on a job opportunity because you don't have certification. Depending on the demand of that job, they may give you time to obtain certification. Um, Also, there's job search on Career One Stop, and also you can find locations to different schools and uh, that offer training. Um, Another place to look for career training is edd.ca.gov. Um, and you just look under jobs and training, eligible jobs and training, and it has a list of different schools and training and certificate opportunities there. Also, there's the San Diego County.gov. They also have a list of training opportunities and certificate programs there. And then also your San Diego City College District, they offer certificate programs as well. Um, so those are some things to look into. Also, too, I've noticed that the demand for CNA is so high right now that um, they're offering like 8 week CNA, which is a certified nurse assistant programs. And I seen one that was like for 8 weeks. Like after 8 weeks, you get your CNA certification. And then also to with your diploma, a lot of times people think that you need to have your diploma in order to move forward and in order to get a better career, and that's not always the case. For example, I saw that they have like a 16-week dental assistant program that does not require a diploma. They actually work with you and somehow work around that. Not really sure how, but that's what it said on the flyer that I had, that there was no diploma necessary. Current demands in the new job market. So we all know that COVID sent us through a loop, and you would think that by now we would be over COVID and back to what we knew as normal. Um, but COVID has brought us new demands to our job market, especially to healthcare and being a healthcare aide. Um, but there's always been a demand for healthcare. I grew up with my grandparents, and they always taught me, like, if when you pick your career, always pick something in healthcare and education, because no matter what happens, an apocalypse happens, they will always need someone in healthcare, and they will always need someone in education. Those are two fields that are not going anywhere. So of course, healthcare and healthcare aid are number one. Number two is information technology, and especially with everything that it's either virtual or it's hybrid. There's always some kind of technology attached to it. So information and technology, supply chain management, financial management, and actuarial institution. Unexpected great wages. So we'll look at the entry grade, the entry level of education, the job industry that it's in, and then we'll look at the potential hourly wage or the salary that that particular career has. So for jobs containing that have no formal education, let me see. Okay, so jobs containing no that require no formal education or credential. You have roofers, which can make between $18 and $29 an hour. Stucco masons make between $15 and $35 an hour. Cashiers usually are paid minimum wage. Um, However, I heard that In-N-Out pays very good. They pay very well. Also, personal care aid, they pay between $16 and $26 an hour. Um, my dad, as you know, I said earlier that he was in the VA hospital. He's no longer in there. He's at home. He has a caregiver. And just based on the experience of the caregiver and what other things that the caregiver has to offer depends on, that's how much money they make. So like if it's just somebody who just got out of high school and they really don't have any experience, I would expect for them to get paid the minimum wage. But when you start throwing things in there like your CPR, they have a certification for senior yoga, um, you know, um, certification for like cook, prepare meal prep, things like that. So those little certifications can add to how much you make an hour and how much you're worth, how much your services are worth. So you can always build on that. Those having a high school diploma or equivalent. Um, Glaziers, they make $15 to $34 an hour. I had to look up glazier, and it's basically someone that works with windows. um, Loan clerk makes between $18 and $35 an hour. Repair worker makes between $19 and $21 an hour, and first line food prepper prepare makes $27 an hour. I'm sorry. So with this first line food prepper, it depends on where you work. And I know that like the snazzier hotels, they pay more for the first line food prepper. And then also too, they pay to get you trained to cook the food that they want served in their hotels. So looking into a very nice hotel and becoming a food and working the food line, um, that that can bring in a lot of money depending on what company you work for, because they like their food prepared a certain way and they like for their cooks to have a certain level of education, but they pay for it. They pay to send you to learn how to make the foods that they want. Some college, but no degree. So a teacher assistant makes between $14 and $17 an hour. I believe it's more. Bookkeeping, $20 an hour, and computer support specialist um, is $18 to $35 an hour. And again, that depends on the company you work for. Post-secondary non-degree award, a medical assistant can make between $18 to $22 an hour. An auto service tech can make $23 to $30 an hour, and a massage therapist can make $35 to $49 an hour. An aircraft mechanic can make more than $29 an hour. So right now we're going to review some concepts. One, be prepared before entering the workforce. And like I said, a lot of times when I hired young employees that were entering the workforce, they were not prepared. They believed that they had a certain amount of time in their schedule, and they really didn't. Um, Sometimes they didn't have reliable transportation, or they didn't have reliable childcare. And most of the time it was because their children were with a friend or the neighbor, or a family member. And maybe the relationship within the family isn't the best. And so they would, their childcare stability would fluctuate. Um, Next part is to explore opportunities for career training. So you can use resources like the ONET to figure out the direction that you want to go into as far as your career, um, and what trainings you may need, what certifications you may need. And then this is a good time to get those certifications and to have those trainings, because a lot of things are virtual now and at your own pace and at your own leisure. So I've noticed that a lot of times these trainings, they'll just give you a link and you finish the training, you take your little test, and then you receive your certification. So at this time, because you don't have to travel somewhere to take a course and travel somewhere else to take a test, everything is, at your leisure and at your fingertips. This would be a great opportunity to get those trainings in so that you can make more money. And we all know that making more money provides a better lifestyle for not only yourself, but you're preparing a better lifestyle for your children. We have a new year, new demands in the workforce. And um, like I said, healthcare is always going to be a demand, but with COVID and all the different strains and everything that's attached to COVID, there's been a high demand in the healthcare industry. Even running those COVID tests and, all that implies, because, there's people out there taking the test, and there's other people that are processing the test. There's so many people that have their hands on just COVID testing. That's just the testing. So, and we all know that there's much, much more to this. So, the healthcare industry um, it would be a good place to look. And I mean, maybe the healthcare industry isn't your thing, but there's other things. There's what's that? Diamond Textile, which is like a trucking company, and they deliver um, the laundry to the hospitals. So I mean, like, there's so many things that are surrounded with the medical field that you can go into, and like you'll always have a job. Um, because we'll always need people in the medical field. And a lot of times we don't notice the people that are working in the medical field until they're not there. And I think that that's one of the things that COVID brought us. One of um, the bringing things to light, and something that we never noticed or um, basked in the blessing of. And that's like the work that other people do that we don't notice. And with COVID, I mean, that person can be there one day and then just be out sick the next day. But we notice when they're not there. We tend to not notice when they are there, but when they're not there, we can feel it. When there's not enough people working at the register, we can feel it when we're trying to check out at the grocery store. So um, there are demands, and that might be another one too, like cashiers and clerks and people that work in the grocery stores. COVID has brought on some major demands on our economy, but also too it's an opportunity for you to be able to jump in where you see that there may be a void even in your own neighborhood. um, the other concept we should review is, utilizing resources and search engines. So there are a lot of resources. I've seen a ton of resources on Facebook. Um, I think that now a lot of us are sharing um, job opportunities and sharing links to receive services and to get help, and help with those resumes and things of that sort. Also too, there's tons of search engines, and like I said, workforce.org, they have a ton of search engines that you can look into. And then finally, just speak to your career counselor and um, see what your career counselor has to say and the guidance that they give you. Maybe you're preparing for the workforce doesn't start with looking, at well, it would start with looking at your interests, but maybe it won't start with a search engine. Maybe starting to prepare for the workforce would start with your resume, and what does that look like, and understanding that, you don't have to have a ton of work experience in order to have a really good resume. You can have a really good resume with just your soft skills, because there are jobs out there that do not require you to have this lengthy work history. And me as an employer, I would prefer that you only had a couple of jobs on your resume as opposed to 10, things like that. Because we like to have our employees just as stable as employees want their employment to be. So those are some things to think about. So I would like to thank you for your time, and I wish you all to be well and to be safe. And thank you for looking into the San Diego labor market with me. And I hope that you truly do understand that there are a lot of opportunities out there, opportunities for employment, and also opportunities for you to go to school and gain those certifications. And, a lot of times you don't have to get like this really, drawn out certificate that takes you 2 years to obtain. There are certificate programs out there that only take a couple of weeks for you to finish. And then also too, to remember that not all employers are requiring that you have these certifications now. Sometimes they will allow you 30 days to finish um, your certification. So don't cut yourself short. Just go out there and try your best, and just reach out to all those opportunities. And I wish you well.